Hi, my name is Tom Griffin, baseball coach here at Carson-Newman University, and what we're going to talk about is our in-season stretching and lifting routine. Right now, obviously being the end of February, our season started February 1st, so this program is basically what we're doing with our student athletes during this time. Jordan Henshaw will be helping me out. Jordan is a middle infielder, senior, who will be demonstrating these lifts and stretches. So we'll get started right now with what we're going to be calling our core stretch. And here we go, Jordan. Basically, we're going to try to loosen up the lower body with a little bit of a dynamic and static stretch. We'll turn around, and then we'll go into what we call knee to armpits, trying to stretch out that hip flexor a little bit. And from here we'll do a scorpion, and again another way to kind of stretch out that hip flexor. We'll go into inchworms, okay? And we can do this with our hands going to our feet, or we can take our feet to our hands. We try to do a cobra stretch at the end, again trying to stretch out a little bit of the lower back. And we try to get about 6 to 8 reps of these each time. We'll go into what we call the greatest stretch. Basically a lunge, forearm to the instep. Our next stretch would be a back lunge with a twist. And from here we'll do a side-to-side lunge, get the groin area. When we go into this stretch right here, we try to push our hands out, get a little flexion at the waist to simulate what an infielder does when they're fielding a ground ball. We'll go into a Frankenstein RDL to stretch out the hamstrings. Our next one is a curtsy to try to stretch out the IT band on the outside of the leg here. And then finally we'll do a stand-up. We'll get our feet a little bit more than shoulder width, and again trying to stretch out the hamstrings, a little bit of the quad area here. All right, so that's our lower body stretch. Now for our upper body stretch, we'll do some doorways, trying to stretch out the pecs, since today Jordan's going to be doing an upper body lift. So we're going to get a stretch. We certainly will try to get both, but for now we'll show a doorway stretch, and then we're going to do an arm across stretch for the tricep. Pull across here. And then we want to get a lat stretch. We'll pull, we'll try to reach behind, try to stretch out this lat area here a little bit as well. All right, and he'll go through a series of twists and arm swings. Crosses there, we'll get a little trunk twist with it. All right. All right. And we'll get a little bit of our forearms as well. Try to stretch the forearms out. We try to keep our arms straight here, fingertips down. We'll do fingertips up as well. And obviously we'll get both sides of the body. Now for our warm-up routine, we'll always start first with our jump rope. So we're going to get him over here with some jump rope. And he's going to kind of vary this a little bit. He can do alternate, he can do 2 and 2, scissor, side to side. This is just something for him to get the blood going here. Go ahead there. So as he's doing this, we try to go for a minute, minute and a half. Let the athlete kind of choose what they want to do as far as this goes. But we use the jump rope a lot, obviously, because for baseball players, it's good for footwork. We're looking for agility, and it's probably best agility we can do. We'll go into jumping jacks. And we'll face this way if you would. There you go. Jumping jacks, we try to make sure we get full jumping jacks, so we're getting the legs spread and the arms up over the head. And again, we'll do this for prescribed time, 30 seconds or so. And then we have some bench hops. And basically, again, to get the blood flowing, to get the heart rate up, he's got his bench hops right here. Okay? All right. All right, as we go into our lifting routine, what our athletes have done since the fall is we've been in a hypertrophy phase of lifting. And we usually go 3 to 4 weeks in which we're doing our reps at 10 to 12 reps, 4 to 6 sets. And what we try to do is upper body day 1, shoulders and legs day 2, with a day off, and repeat that sequence Thursday and Friday. After we get done with our hypertrophy phase, we go into a strength phase. And our strength phase, again, will stay in the 4 to 6 range of sets. Now our reps are going to get more into the 6 to 8 range as we start adding more weight to the bar or dumbbells. Our final stage is our power phase, and that will be anywhere from 5 to 7 sets. And the reps are going to be much lower. We're looking at 1 to maybe 3, and obviously much more weight that we're trying to push around. As we go into the winter, they go home with a program over the winter. When they come back, we want to stay in that strength phase. One of the things we want to be careful about is doing a lot of reps during baseball season, because they're getting reps with throwing and swinging and running. What we don't want to do is add more reps in the weight room to where the shoulders, the back, the chest, and the legs are getting fatigued in here. We need to make sure that they're baseball strong. So we're going to keep our reps in that 5 to 7 range, and some days we'll come in here and we may just do 2 or 3 reps just to keep it more in a power phase. So we'll start with the upper body. We're going to start with chest first. We'll use the TRX here. We're going to do push-ups first on this. This is more for our warm-up. So he's going to do, basically what we would do is 2 sets of warm-ups here, all right, with our push-ups. And again, he can do this on the bench, but this is more just to get ourselves loose to get into our bench exercise. All right? Now, once we get 2 sets of that, we're going to come over to the bench here and talk about a little bit of technique as he gets on the bench here. One of the things we talk with our athletes about is the feet have to be firmly planted into the ground. We want a little bit of back, so we want to get a little arch in our back. The key for us, make sure that the rear end stays on the bench, but we do want them to get a little bit of an arch. Make sure that we're pushing the feet into the ground, but avoiding the rear end to come up. Now, before he goes, we have a couple variations that we'll use for our bench. Sometimes we'll do a close grip, in which our elbows will stay in to work more of the tricep. And then sometimes we allow our athletes to get their hands outside their elbows. But again, the elbows need to stay slightly inside so we can get more tricep work out of here. What we would do in this area right now, he would do 4 sets of 5 reps. And again, based off a match, but based off what he's able to do based on the past. So go ahead. Okay, he's down. Now some guys are going to touch their chest. Some guys will be about a 2x4 away, but the elbows are staying in as he's pushing up. Now when we come down, we want to make sure that as they come down, we're breathing and exhaling as we're pushing up versus holding our breath through the whole thing. Sometimes in our bench exercise, what we'll do is we'll do almost a 2-0-1 type count, to where we're coming down in a 2 count with a slight pause and an explosion up, making sure when we explode that we're not locking out the elbows, we're keeping them flexed. What we do want with the power part is to be explosive as well. So we'll show a little bit of a 2-0-1 where he's going to come down, give a quick pause, and then an explosion. Hold, pop, bam. Slow, 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 pause, pop. Okay? So we'll variate that lift where they're in a constant movement, and then there's different type of phases as far as slow, pause, and then get explosive up through it. Once we get done with our 4 sets, we'll add a secondary exercise. In this case, he's going to come over and he's going to do what are called dumbbell push-ups. Again, what we're trying to isolate here is to get more tricep work. So we've got a straight body. We're going to make sure the head is up slightly right here. That spine is going to stay straight. Go ahead. He's going to press. And as he comes up, we're not coming all the way up because we want to isolate these triceps. And what we're going to do is pulse push-ups. So they're staying close to the body. Okay, good. Now there's going to be variations that we can do with our push-ups that we like to do off the bench. And some of those could be done where we're doing a decline push-up, and sometimes with our feet on the bench and hands down, we can do it a decline push-up, incline push-ups. Push-up jacks, another thing that we can do to where we bring this leg up to the side of the body as he comes up, just for a little bit of core exercise. Okay, good. And then we can use medicine balls just to get a little bit of difference as far as where our hands are, but we want to variate those push-up exercises off of that. We try to avoid doing flies as much as possible, just because there's a lot of that happening already with baseball, with us opening up those chest area. So we try to keep everything close to us, especially for the tricep exercises. The other things we'll add for triceps is we can do some push down exercises as well. And we can do this in the regular format with our palms down. We can also do, we'll show a variation where our palms will be up. So we'll show palms down first. As he presses down, as he comes up, just past parallel, and he's back down again. We like to make sure our thumbs are on the outside. We're going to make sure that our wrist is staying locked right here, and we're isolating the triceps. The variation off of that can be under grip. And again, this is something will vary. As we press down, we come up just past parallel as we push down. Okay? All right, good. Okay, so with our chest exercises, we've done 4 sets of 5, and then we've had a secondary exercise. And those secondary exercises, we're doing anywhere from 2 to maybe 3 sets. We try to go to max or to at least just to a little bit of a burnout. Depending on our schedule, it could be 1 set and just to a burnout for the tricep area along with that chest. Now we're going to go into our back. And again, just like we did with the chest, we want to do something to kind of warm up the body. So we're going to do kind of what's more of a total body exercise, landmines. We'll do 1 to 2 sets of these to kind of get the body warmed up for our back exercise. So Jordan's going to show us the landmine. All right, normally we could have some weight on here, and we want to keep these arms straight, and we want to work on rotation, and then we want to make sure with a straight arm we bring it back up to center, and then we're going to rotate to the other side and bring it back up to center. Keeping the arms straight, what we're trying to do is isolate the back, the upper part of the back. We're also getting the core to work as well here. Okay? So we would get 1 to 2 sets of these with weight on to kind of get that body to wake up a little bit. And then we'll come over here to our chest back exercise here. We're going to go with a low row. And a couple variations off of this. We can do 1-arm rows. Lat pull downs we can do as well. The only thing with lat pull downs, a lot of these guys are doing a lot of throwing, and their scaps are always working downward when they're throwing, so that's something we'll do less of. We'll do more rows for the back. And again, this would be 4 sets of 5 reps, maybe 3 reps. We want them to get a little bit heavier on this thing. So we'll show you the row. And the key, what we want here is keep that back arched. Try to keep our body stable and allow our elbows to pull back. We hold for a quick pause. Obviously with heavier weight, we want to make sure that they're not leaning back. Keep their form. We have a little flexion in the knees right here. Make sure that we're isolating that core as much as possible. Okay? Another variation we can do off of this is we'll do the same thing, but to isolate the core, we'll be off the bench, so we can isolate our core, and now we can bring it to our chest. And now what's happening is the stabilization that has to occur is we're working that core area, which obviously for baseball is something we spend a lot of time working on is the stabilization and the strengthening of the core in the middle and the side obliques. Okay? Now, from that, 4 sets of 5, we'll head over here to do our biceps, to work with those. We'll use the 15 pounds right here. Variations of curls. What we're going to do right now is a Zottman curl, so he's going to curl them up and rotate as he comes down. We like Zottman curls because we want to try to work the forearms as much as possible. Another variation of the dumbbell could be hammer curls. We'll show them. All right, go ahead. Hammer curls. And we have variations. They can use a bar, easy curl bar. All right, that's good. One of the things with curls, we're just going to be careful. We're not going to do a whole lot of curling action or tricep action because that work's getting done with the pulling and pushing exercises. And with baseball, one of the things that we do want to make sure of is that bicep gets stretched out, that we don't keep it curled when we're lifting here, that we actually allow that bicep tendon to actually get stretched out as much as possible. We're only as strong as our weakest point, and our weakest point is with this totally stretched out, and from here this pulling action will help strengthen that muscle completely versus keeping it, let's say, at about 80%. So that's something we'll spend a lot of time with our forearms, making sure that they get them completely stretched out. Okay? All right, so we have finished our chest. We've talked about our back. We've also done the arms along with that. Now what we're going to add is, at the end of this, is forearms. And we have variations of forearms. Some of them will be wrist curls, wrist extensions. We'll do plate holds for grip. We'll kind of mix that up with our athletes. We're going to show you one today that we've got together 3 different exercises that they do to get the forearms. And when he finishes, he'll go through a series of flicks and twists and turns as far as also getting the forearms to fire. So here's what we call our eagle arms. And he's basically going to rotate these back and forth. We do 20 reps. And then what we're going to do are turns. And he's going to do 20 reps of these, trying to move that fast. And they're going run right after another in a superset. He'd do 20 of those, and then he's going to do 20, basically hammer curls. So we basically get 60 reps in the arms, in the forearms. Once we finish that, with all our forearms, all our athletes will go through a series of flicks and movements here. Try to get 5 to 10. And cherry pickers. And then turn the knobs to try to help burn out those forearms. Once he gets done with that though, obviously we want to make sure that we stretch out our forearms as much as possible. With our athletes, when they get done with exercises, if they get done with their chest, we're going to stretch the chest out. When they get done with their back, we're going to make sure they stretch their back out. So as they're lifting, we want stretching to be done so that we can keep our flexibility and looseness. They'll do that by simply walking around. They could be getting their tricep, they could do a doorway stretch, they can hang from a bar. But as they're lifting, we want them stretching as well to keep that flexibility up. Okay, with our abs, we will do abs before we start, and there'll be times that we're doing our abs in between each sets of lift. So once we get done with, let's say, our bench press, our athletes will pick a different ab routine that they'll work, getting their abs worked on. And we'll do that throughout the course of our workout. And then sometimes we'll do the abs at the end of the workout. What we try to do, variate those as well. Planks is very big for us. Straight body, head straight, really isolating the core, making sure we keep this body straight. We can go side planks. We'll hold the arm up here, and again, to try to isolate this as much as possible to squeeze, and he'll get both sides of those. And then also from a frontal plank, we can do pumps as well. And if he gets to this area, he can pump, driving the core down, squeeze when we get up top as well with planks. Russian twist, using a med ball. We like to do Russian twist. Obviously, baseball is a rotational activity. So anything we can do with Russian twist, making sure that we're turning our shoulders as much as possible, whether we use weight, plates, med balls, try to do this for the core as well. And finally, something else we'll incorporate are isolation. The athlete will bring his elbows together with his knees and he'll squeeze and hold that. And what I'll do is I'll pull here for 5 seconds. He'll keep it together. We'll pull here for 5 seconds as he keeps squeezing. We're going to pull here for 5 seconds. We're going to pull here for 5 seconds and then kind of alternate a little bit. And then he's going to do 5 full sit-ups to try to really isolate that ab as much as possible as a finishing exercise. Okay? All right, now, once our athletes get done with their upper body, they usually got a pretty good pump going on. We want to make sure we wake up that nervous system again so that when they leave here, it's not in this tight feeling. They have stretched in between exercises, in between sets, but at the same time, we want to kind of wake that body up and get it loose again. So what we can do is a series of different things. Sometimes we can do some plyo push-ups where they push and clap just to kind of wake it up. We'll use ropes as well in different variations of the rope. They can do alternate, they can do the same, we can do slams. Today, Jordan's just going to do opposite, and this is going to be something really quick just to kind of wake the body back up. And then he's going to probably end that with some ball slams because it's a little bit more of a total body wake-up call. So he's going to do some of these. When we get done, he'll go right into some side slams, and we're ready to go. All right? So go ahead. So again, about 10 seconds. Tight core. Arms are working. Core is stable. Good, good. All right. And now let's go to ball slams. We'll go side to side. Let's face them on this side, Jordan. So we're slamming, picking up, getting the shoulders loose, getting the chest, the back. Stop right there. All right? And then Jordan's ready to go now. So Jordan's got his chest, his arms, he got his back, we got abs, we got forearms. We were able to wake the body up, get that nervous system firing off again before he heads out of here. So that's our routine that we use in season in February here for our athletes. Again, structuring it on power and then also waking up the body, the nervous system with ropes and ball slams.